ever wonder how much money is spent on teacher professional development? And what do you think happens after the professional development ends? Do teachers continue using what they learn, or do they quickly go back to what they were doing before? Research conducted by Cathy Ringstaff at West Ed and Judith Sandholtz at UC Irvine found that instructional changes start to decline within 2 years after the professional development ends. Now consider what happens when people buy a car. Some people spend a small amount of money each year and invest in regular tune-ups, while others decide to ignore them. In the same way that educational administrators likely assume that changes resulting from teacher professional development will continue without additional support. And so with funding from the National Science Foundation, Dr. Ringstaff and Dr. Sandholtz explored the question of whether professional development tune-ups would lead to long-term use of instructional strategies. Elementary teachers who participated in one of 4 science-based state-funded professional development programs were invited to participate in this study to see if modest follow-up supports influence the sustainability of teacher outcomes. Similar to tune-ups for an automobile engine, we suspected that the relatively minor cost of offering professional development tune-ups would pay important dividends over the long term. The original professional development in which teachers participated focused on increasing teachers' instructional time in science, teachers' self-efficacy related to teaching science, teachers' sense of preparedness, and their use of inquiry-based student-centered activities, as well as evidence-based instructional strategies. And as soon as 2 years after the professional development ended, we found declines in all of these areas mentioned.
Science comes at the bottom of the barrel. The time is taken by reading and math, and we squeeze in what science we can. But unfortunately, it is a squeezed subject, so I'm painfully not getting it in like I would like to.
The centerpiece of the follow-up support was the face-to-face sessions which teachers were expected to attend. These face-to-face sessions had a general focus on next-generation science standards and gave teachers the chance to collaboratively develop lessons, share strategies, make connections with colleagues, and reconnect with past participants.
Being immersed in it for several days and the hands-on experiments, then we would take a step back and analyze what was going on, and then go back and do the hands-on, and step back and analyze what's going on. I found that super valuable.
The face-to-face sessions, even the ones where we met with our groups at night from 4 to 6, those are all really wonderful. We get together, share what we've been doing, share ideas, share things we found, other resources. Those are always really good for me.
As a follow-up to the after-school meetings, teachers could participate in monthly synchronous webinars facilitated by one of the professional development leaders. The webinars offered additional opportunities for teachers to collaborate and discuss topics of particular interest. Teachers also had the option to use 4 forms of electronic support. First, there was a dedicated email address that teachers could use to ask questions to science and curriculum experts. Second, the project had a closed Facebook group that allowed teachers to participate how and when they chose. Third, approximately once a month, teachers received an electronic newsletter via email. The newsletter focused on topics related to NGSS and also described and connected teachers to free and readily available professional development resources developed by experts. Fourth, teachers had access to an online repository of materials that they could use for sharing lesson plans and documents. Finally, each teacher was provided with $150 each year to directly purchase science materials needed for their classrooms. Teachers, not school administrators, made the decisions about what to buy. The money allowed teachers a direct and straightforward way to replace consumable supplies needed for hands-on investigative science instruction. Our research found that follow-up support reversed declines in teachers' sense of preparedness to teach science, their self-efficacy, their instructional time devoted to teaching science, their use of evidence-based instructional strategies, and the implementation of inquiry-based student-centered activities. The improvements in outcomes started within the first year of the follow-up support. By the end of the program, the outcomes returned almost to the same level as when the previous professional development ended. Our findings do support the value of professional development tune-ups and sustaining instructional changes, and suggest that administrators should not just invest in initial professional development, but also allocate some of the professional development funds to offer follow-up supports to teachers. We also found that teachers differed in their use of various supports, so offering teachers a menu of options for follow-up support could address differing teacher preferences, teaching assignments, school contexts, and personal circumstances. Professional development has been shown by researchers to be valuable and a worthwhile investment, but without a regular tune-up, teachers stand to lose what they have gained.